Okay, hello and welcome back to episode two, or assignment two. So today we'll be talking mainly regarding about emotions. And so there's a few practices I want to share that can really help regulate your emotions. Um, and so first one being it's called the ruler practice. And so this is recognizing, understanding, labeling, expressing, and regulating emotions. And so essentially what that means is you recognize an emotion. And so for this example, we're going to use if you're a student and you have a big test, such as like a midterm or a final. Um, so first, recognizing your emotions, right? You're stressed out. You have that really bad feeling in your stomach, um, which may cause increased breathing, increased heart rate. It may cause heart palpitations. And so recognizing the emotion and what is happening inside your body, that's the first step. Second step is understanding, like, why are you feeling this? Well, you have a big test. So it's very, there's a lot of emotions that can go with that. Um, and so, another thing to think about is, the cause. So what's the consequence, right? If the cause is the test and you're nervous, consequence may be biting your nails. For some people, maybe indulging in other substances such as tobacco or marijuana, anything like that. Um, and so just, yeah, understanding that and understanding doing, why you're doing what you're doing. Um, Going into then labeling the emotions, right? So you figured out what's going on inside your body, increased heart rate, how heart palpitations. Um, but what is going on inside your body? Are you feeling really like anger? Are you feeling anger towards the test? Um, are you feeling really stressed out? And asking yourself, what happened to me in order for me to get into this certain situation and environment? Then going into expressing emotions, it's better to get it out rather than to conceal it, right? It's like that saying, don't bottle up your emotions. It's got a lot of truth to that because if you bottle things up, eventually it's going to explode and you're going to be in a really bad environment for that to happen, or something worse is going to happen and you'll just go downhill from there. So, getting out your emotions, there's many different ways you can do this, such as physical activity, reading, having a quiet space, listening to music, dancing, many different options. But just finding that way to express your emotions and not let it kind of sit inside you. Uh, then this leads us to regulating emotions. So, regulating emotions, pretty straightforward. It's just, if you are in a test or if you're having to do a test, what's the main goal? What's the main goal? Well, you want to be um, less stressed, less nervous, um, decreased breathing rate, decreased heart rate, like just kind of, yeah, overall, like decrease like sympathetic nervous system. So you need a strategy. So what is the strategy? Well, for example, it could be just reminding yourself that yes, you did study quite a lot um, for that test, and you tested yourself a lot on certain things or certain statements, sentences. Um, so just reminding yourself that yeah, you are prepared for this test. Um, Now going into more of focusing on the sensations in your body. So this brings me to mindful walking practice. So essentially, for 10, 15, X amount of minutes, having a walk, really, just a walk down your street and allowing all that information just to be absorbed in you, right? Like, um, what are you feeling during that walk, right? So we'll use the beach for example. Do you feel the soft, smooth sand or the cold water? Do you feel the crispiness of the seaweed? Just asking yourself, like, what do you feel during that moment? Um, then this also leads into me talking about like the 20 to 30 minutes outside. So for 20 to 30 minutes, per day, or every second day, or whenever you have time, um, go outside and just, yeah, like again, let everything just absorb into you. Like, what are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you hearing? And just focusing on those sensations. And now we're going to get into one that is it's a newer study out. It's digital minimalization. So, for some people, they can have, tons of, apps, electronics all around them, they'll be fine. For other people, it can be really challenging to, it can be really challenging for them to not have their phone or not have certain apps on their phone or certain electronics, and it can get to the point where it is an addiction, right? So if you do suffer from this phone addiction, just understanding, like, yeah, like as soon as you wake up in the morning, are you on your phone? How many minutes per day are you on your phone or on your computer or watching YouTube, anything like that? um, and just kind of walking yourself through those questions and just seeing where you're at. um, yeah, like I said, some people, they can have as many electronics or apps as that they want. For other people, it's a real struggle. um, Now we're going to be talking about the grounding practices. So this is from the Simple Self-Care for the Therapist. It is a book. I believe you can buy it at Indigo if you want. But one thing that I'm going to discuss here is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding strategy. So this is 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, this is 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. So going through those can really just help put yourself back in the present moment and really ground yourself. Very great for being in that test situation where, yeah, you walk into a midterm, and you're just freaking out, don't know what to do. Try that. It might work. Um, Next one we're going to talk about is the, like, quotation mark, flow zone, right? So there is such thing called a flow state, and what that is essentially just this moment of pure fluidity. Um, and so for many people, you can get that through, yeah, exercise, like dancing, working out, and that's due just to you focusing on one specific thing. So for me personally, I drive a motorbike, and those who ride will know that, yeah, this driving a motorbike, you have to be insanely focused on purely just staying alive. And so that I really, you know just doing that every day, because I daily ride, I can already tell, ever since I got my bike, I've been more like, okay, like I can handle stressful situations because I've been in, uh, you know, anyhow, that's a different story to tell. Um, but yeah, so for example, if you want to do like dancing, right? Dancing is a great way to express your emotion and to have that mindfulness meditation to just focus on one thing. Um, where do your feet go? Where do your hands move? Like, are you moving your hips or anything like that? So, yeah, it's definitely a great way to focus just on one thing. But that wraps up our practices for this video. Now we're just going to be getting into a few questions, which I will go through as quick as I can. But what is emotional regulation and why is it important for RMTs? So, very, like, simple answer is emotional regulation is simply just regulating your emotions. So I know I just said the question backwards, but essentially it's just, yeah, kind of how much anger do you put into a situation, or how much sadness do you put into a situation. And the reason why that's all important for RMTs is because if you have a client on the table that is in a situation where they just lost their mom, or they just lost their beloved pet, but you yourself are also dealing with uh, a lost loved one, then you gotta be there for your client, even though you have all these emotions inside you. So, and we have to do that as a healthcare professional. So, having that ability to regulate your emotions, it's huge. It's huge, huge for, yeah, being one on one with somebody else. Um, so another question is, for personally for me, like, what activities lift your mood, what drains you, and what brings you that state of flow. So for the state of flow, as I said before, it was motorbiking. Um, and then what drains me, I would have to say dealing with stupid people. um, not to sound crude or anything, but it's just, those people that they just say something and you're like, oh my God, you just want to strangle them. Um, of course, I would never do that, but you just feel like you want to, right? So dealing with people like those, it's a lot. So yeah, going through these meditations, it's great on a daily basis, right? What lifts my mood? I would also say motorbiking. Um, it's just a huge passion for mine. In the future, I'd really like to actually take it, to like a track or something, and just rip around the track, have fun. Um, Next question is, consider mindfulness, mental health, and emotional regulation. How do they relate to each other and a sustainable practice? So essentially, all three of those topics, they all complement each other really well. Um, you know, for example, mental health and emotional regulation, they can really affect each other, right? And I just have some kind of little examples here. So, for example, emotions is like an emotion lasts about 90 seconds. What keeps that emotion alive is your thoughts, right? Um, and so, for example, you're at work, one of your clients just says something that you don't like, um, you have a feeling for that, and that's like, consider that the kindling for a fire. And then you get an emotion because of that feeling. Um, oh no, sorry, I got those a little bit backwards. So you feel an emotion after a client said something, and that's like the spark, right? And then you have a feeling due to that emotion, so that's like the kindling. So the spark lands on the kindling, can really do some nasty stuff. And then you have the thoughts, which is just the fuel, right? So, for example, you can have a person that just says, "Oh, I think, global warming is a good thing." Like, I don't know who would say that, but um, it's just, of course, that's a very, you either it's a very gray area, of course, but I'm just using that as an example for this video. Um, but you can have a very strong opinion about that, and because of your thoughts, it's just, you can get really angry or very passionate about the situation very quick. Um, and so how would like mindfulness practice help with that, and help with healthcare providers avoid burnout? Well, just being able to go through those practices that I listed before, and being able to keep yourself in the present moment, and tell yourself, like, you know what, I'm really mad right now, but I'm just going to, let me just breathe, let me assess the situation. Um, and because you never know, like, if someone on your table said something really mean to you, um, they might be going through a bad day themselves, and so you can't just be quick to judge, sort of thing. So just keeping yourself in that, um, kind of keeping yourself behind the boundary, that's the ideal situation. It's a lot harder than said, or easier said than done, but yeah. And then which practice resonated with me, and how can this be integrated into your self-care plan? So for me, it was definitely staying focused on one thing, so that flow state. Since I drive my bike every day pretty much to school and everything, I have a lot of time to practice that. And so, yeah, that's the one I can definitely practice every day. I'm not going to stop writing. So it's going to be a continuation throughout my life. And I find it's just the easiest one for me. Yeah. Um, but that brings us to the end of the video. So thank you so much for watching this long video. Sorry, it was like almost 16 minutes now. But yes, thank you very much. And I wanted to mention all my references or sources for the information I gathered are all at the bottom of the assignment worksheet that I handed in with this video. So thank you again, and yeah, have a great rest of your day.